Hello, third graders. It's me again. This is a story about Lola and Tiva, an unlikely friendship. Looking at this, do you think the story is going to be fiction or nonfiction? I guess we'll turn the page and find out. On the back, they have another picture of a rhinoceros. She doesn't look very scared of that rhinoceros, does she? They have a note on the first page. To our young reader, as dogs and wild beasts usually don't mix well, what does a little girl who lives on a nature conservancy in Kenya do since she is not allowed to have a dog? Of course, she takes in a pet rhinoceros. Of course, why not? When we first saw Peter Gret's stunning photographs of a lovable young rhino named Lola and the blonde-haired Tiva frolicking in the mud together, we were mesmerized at the storyline suggested by the photos. Lola and Tiva's story almost doesn't need words. A blind mother rhino can't keep track of her offspring once they begin to walk more than a few steps. Her still nursing baby, Lola, wanders off one day and gets lost. And finally, she meets a family with a caring young daughter who takes Lola in as an unusual but quite suitable substitute for the dog she can't have. Lola and Tiva is the living metaphor of every young animal lover's dream: to feed, take care of, keep company, and yes, even roll around in the mud with a wild beast who you then put to bed at night and tuck in with their favorite blanket. We hope you enjoyed the magically true story of Lola and Tiva. With hope and peace, Craig, Juliana, and Isabella Hetkoff. So, this story is nonfiction. Here we go. Lola and Tiva, an unlikely friendship. There they are again. I bet several of you figured out that it was going to be nonfiction based on the pictures. There is a very special place in Kenya, Africa, called the Liwa Wildlife Conservancy. Liwa is a large place where animals roam free and people, called rangers, watch over them. A young girl named Tiva lived there with her family. Her father worked for the Liwa. At least I hope I'm saying that right. So there she is. Aww. Everyone at Liwa knew that Tiva had always wanted a puppy. But puppies were not allowed. Instead, the people at Liwa found Tiva a different kind of friend. A young black rhino named Lola. Lola seemed to work just as well as a puppy for Tiva. Lola and Tiva became the best of friends. This is their true story. There we go. Lola was born at Liwa to a mother that was blind. For a couple of days, Lola drank her mother's milk for food and stayed close by. But when she was strong enough to walk, Lola wandered off to another area of Liwa. Her mother could not see Lola walking away. Without her mother to feed and protect her, Lola was in danger. Just a couple of days she stayed with her mom. Could you imagine if you were staying with your mom for only a couple of days and then you were off on your own? It'd be kind of weird. Lola needed food and could become a meal for a lion or another hungry animal. That's a pretty big meal. She could not find her mother, and her blind mother could not find her. The rangers who worked at Liwa searched for Lola. When they found her, they brought her to a safe place in Liwa that was near Tiva's house. There, Lola would be out of danger. Look at that. That's a big thing of milk. Tiva was excited when Lola arrived. She wanted to take care of Lola. Like any baby, Lola needed many things. Most of all, Lola was hungry and needed milk. Tiva learned to feed Lola. Lola drank a bottle 5 times a day. Each time she drank over a gallon. That's a lot of milk. Tiva loved Lola. Lola was a lot like a big puppy. See, she's petting him. Or her, sorry. She tried to climb things. She licked things. She smelled things. She begged at the dinner table. Look at that. That's pretty funny. Like most pets, Lola never posed when Tiva tried to take pictures. She wanted to nap. But Lola did like for Tiva to pet her between the ears. Aw, look. Of course, rhinos are not really like dogs. They don't eat dog food. When Lola was about 5 months old, she started to eat like a real rhino. She ate shrubs, twigs, and leaves. Her upper lip is shaped like a hook and could grab onto food. Lola could wrap her hook around sticks and leaves, but she still loved to drink her milk too. Do you remember what that's called when they don't? It sounds like she just eats trees and that kind of stuff. So would she be a herbivore or a carnivore? Rhinos in the wild are usually shy. They often run away if they see or smell people. Lola was too young to be afraid of people. Tiva and the rangers became her family. Look at that. That's adorable. A baby rhino is called a calf. There's a lot of animals called a calf and their baby. A calf usually stays with its mother for 2 years. The mother watches over her calf. Lola needed someone to look after her. Tiva became Lola's special friend. Like a pet, Lola needed special care. Tiva helped pick bugs off Lola's body. The bugs could make Lola sick. In the wild, birds eat the bugs off a rhino's skin, but birds would not do that for Lola. There were too many people around. Is that her picking the bugs off? I don't know. Hey, that's the picture in the front. Oh my goodness, look at that mess. Lola also needed to take baths. Mud baths. When a rhino rolls in the mud, it is called wallowing. It is an important part of being a rhino. The mud protects a rhino's skin from the sun, like sunscreen. Once the mud dries, it also keeps bugs from biting. It's pretty interesting. Tiva made sure Lola knew how to wallow. It isn't as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of practice. A rhino does not have to wash the mud off. A little girl does. Look at how messy she became. Looks like she's rubbing it on her back too. Or is she trying to throw it? Lola and Tiva shared their days together. Lola learned about being a rhinoceros. Tiva learned about being a friend. It was a lot of fun, and it wore them out. Look, the rhino has a blanket. Now, Lola is almost full grown. She is too big to play with Tiva like she used to. But the time they spent together will always be special. After all, a little girl never forgets her first best friend. So this is an information page. It says more about rhinoceroses. Rhinoceros is the full name for rhino. Lola is a black rhinoceros, but she isn't black in color. Her thick skin is a grayish brown like all black rhinos. Black rhinos have a special upper lip that can wrap around leaves and twigs. Adult black rhinos also have 2 horns that are made of keratin, just like people's fingernails and hair. Black rhinos live in Africa and are endangered. An endangered species is at risk because there are not many of that kind of animal still living in the wild. Liwa Wildlife Conservancy. Protecting rhinos in the wild is the best way to help them survive. Liwa is a nature reserve in Kenya where wild animals can live while rangers and trained professionals keep a close eye on them. Liwa is home to over 70 species of animals, including over 20% of the endangered zebras in the world. If Lola had not been on Liwa grounds, she would not have survived being abandoned by her mother. Liwa, its rangers, and Tiva gave Lola the chance to grow into a healthy, full-grown rhino. That was a really cool story. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I will talk with you later. Bye.